Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another series of nakshatras in which I've already done two nakshatras as Ashwini Bharni. Now we'll talk about Krittika Nakshatra. Before we move on, I'd like you to subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel so that you're posted with all new videos which are done by me. Now, when we talk about Krittika Nakshatra, it's a third nakshatra, and the deity for this is Agni, and the you could say the animal for this would be female goat. Okay. Now it falls in Aries as well as in Taurus. So the first pada will fall in Aries. We will talk about all four padas, and if you see, it's visible to the naked eye because it's the cluster of seven stars. So there's a formation of seven stars which can be seen by the naked eye. And when you're talking about the symbol, how exactly would you make out who is a Kritika Nakshatra person? The symbols would be, knife, blades, scissors. This is what I've seen for Kritika Nakshatra people, and anything related to fire, because your sun plays a very important role. So sun is something which is governing the Kritika Nakshatra. Now what actually happens when you see the first pada of Kritika Nakshatra, that would be in the sign of Aries, moving on to Taurus. So the Aries energy is a fire energy, and if we know, the Taurian energy is more of the earth energy. Now what happens when this energy is transmitted from one zodiac to the other zodiac? So as we all know, the fire energy is our digestive system, and how it goes ahead and absorbs the energy of the earth, and it breaks down our food. So the fire transmutes to earth energy, and this is how we can see in Kritika Nakshatra people. They are extremely energetic people, very creative, and always they have a lot of knowledge and wisdom stored in them. So whenever you see a strong Kritika Nakshatra or else a powerful Kritika Nakshatra, it would be powerful if Sun, Moon, your ascendant, or else your Atma Karaka is in Kritika Nakshatra. So whichever is a planet which is lying in Kritika Nakshatra will give you the results of Kritika Nakshatra. Now it depends upon how exactly it is placed, whether it's placed in dignity, whether it's not placed in dignity, having malefic conjunctions, or else aspects on it, all would go ahead and vary the results. Now they have a very good metabolism. Why? Because here the Agni Tattva is coming in picture, and then breaking down, it would go ahead to the earth element. Very sharp in mind, and they can penetrate into ideas. Now when you have a very sharp mind and a good thinking, what happens, it goes, the outcome is that you can actually materialize things. So, and a lot of people having Kritika Nakshatras are seen that they are the ones who would be getting into a lot of you could say adoptions, then fostering, secret nurturing. Because if we know the story behind the Kritika Nakshatra, we can relate to the entire thing what's happening. Apart from this, when you're talking about anything related to, or anything that resembles cutting, you could say shaving, or else anything in which there is a penetration, division, separation. See, you can either use this energy in a very constructive manner, like, see, you can use a knife to cut food, or else you can even use a knife to cut a person. Now how well this Kritika Nakshatra is placed in your chart, whether it's giving you a prominent positive result or it's giving you a prominent negative result, it all depends upon the planets aligned over here. It is not just one specific thing which would give you results, because when we read a chart, we would just not see one nakshatra. But still, when we're talking about Kritika Nakshatra, we'll stay to it and we'll talk about this specific nakshatra. So being constructive or destructive purely depends upon how well this nakshatra is placed, and which are the planets which are placed in this nakshatra. When you're talking about them physically, they are extremely active, energetic. They love taking part in fire rituals. So whether it's a fire rituals, or else it's fireworks, or it is anything related to welding, or else you could say welding, or else melting. Because see, when you're talking about the fire tattva as well as you're talking about the earth tattva, that's your fire element and your earth element, sun plays a very important role over here, because the sun is something which is, taking this vehicle of Kritika moving forward. So whether it is something constructive such as welding, or else it's something such as melting, sun is something which will take responsibility over here. It depends upon the dignity of the sun, how exactly sun is placed on the chart, what is the dignity of the sun on this chart. Now when you're talking about a little the negative aspect, as we all know, every planet has a positive as well as, a very negative aspect as well. So what I've seen over these years, that an adulterous nature, illicit love affairs, bad eating habits, and illegitimate children, like children out of marriage, and this is something which is seen. It all depends upon other alignments as well on the chart. It's not one planet which would go ahead and give you those results. So we need to look at a chart at a microscopic level, and then go ahead and predict. Now these people have one more very important and very good positive quality, you could say, that they have an extraordinary willpower. Why? Because see, some part of it comes in the Aries zodiac as well. So when you're talking about the Aries zodiac itself, you can say it's Mars which is taking care of it, and it's just one pada of Kritika which falls in Aries. And now this first pada is governed by Sun. So you have Sun as well as you have Mars dominating over here. So how the individual which definitely reflect all those qualities of Mars as well as Sun. Now moving on to padas, we've got four padas. Now the first pada comes under the rulership of Jupiter, because it falls in the Sagittarius Navmansh. When you're talking about Sagittarius Navmansh, this is a place where you get to see the maximum morality, as well as the generous part of the this zodiac. So this is a place where you will see that people are very generous, they have a lot of stamina, a lot of willpower, and the planet gives the maximum strength in this specific pada when it's located. Now it's like the exploring part of the zodiac, it's the explorer part of the zodiac, and there are planets such as Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Ketu doing good. Why? Because it comes under the domain of Mars if it's the first pada, and then we've got Sun. So friendly planets to Sun and Mars again would be Jupiter would be good, Ketu again being friendly to Jupiter as well as being somewhat like Mars, so it would do amazing. Moving on to pada 2. Pada 2 comes in the Capricorn Navmansh. It's governed by Saturn. From this pada, Venus becomes the co-ruler. Why Venus becomes the co-ruler? Because it's now under the Taurus domain. See, the first pada came in Aries. The second pada for Krittika Nakshatra would come in Taurus. Now here there's a tug of war between Sun and Venus. Why? Because they are natural enemies. So the entire life for this person will go harmonizing, relationships, and having, they do have a very strong sense of ethics. But the approach which is over here is more of, it is not, that spiritual. They are ethical. However, their approach for things is not a spiritual, it is a materialistic approach. Because when you see in this specific pada, in pada 2 of this nakshatra, that's Kritika, which falls in Taurus, moon reaches its highest exaltation, because it gets exalted in Taurus at 3 degrees. That's the reason why you can see that this pada is something which will give you a lot of materialistic grains with ethics. But yes, there's a lot of harmonizing which is required. So whatever this individual does, whoever is born in Krittika Nakshatra, or as Kritika is prominent, they need to know that they need to harmonize. So that could be harmonizing of relationships, harmonizing between two different aspects of your life. It's not always harmonizing relationships, it's harmonizing different aspects or whatever we do in our life. Moving on to the third pada, which falls in the Aquarius Navmansh. Saturn is something which governs over here. Now, Saturn being a planet will take care of what? All significations of the 10th house. See, Aquarius is a sign when none of the planets go debilitated, where none of the planets even go exalted. So it is it is like, all the learning of this entire zodiac comes in this specific pada. So a lot of, there'll be a lot of learning involved over here. And because what happened, as you can see that this specific zodiac where the pada 3 is falling is a university of learning for the zodiac. So it's another important pada. And now when we are talking about pada 4, that is coming under the Pisces domain. Now the Pisces domain, again, it comes under the Jupiter Navmansh. The key motto or else the goal for achievement over here is just one word, that would be working in a team. Teamwork is something which is very important over here. So if the individual having Krittika Nakshatra in a pada 4, he thinks that he would do everything by himself, it does not work that way. All planets perform very well over here in this specific pada, because it comes in the Pushkar Navmansh. When it comes in the Pushkar Navmansh, automatically you see planets go positive. Mostly you can say Jupiter, Venus and Ketu are positive. And Mercury is the only planet, I guess, it goes debilitated, because being Pisces, so it's something which is completely opposite to Venus. Like Venus goes exalted in Pisces. So that's how pada 4 works. Jupiter is all about group work. It's a very, very joyful placement. All planets do well, as I told you. However, it's only Mercury which is a little imbalanced over here, because it's not what Mercury is getting in this specific zodiac, in this specific degree. So this is what are my views about Krittika Nakshatra and its 4 padas. And yes, I'll be coming up with Rohini in some time, so I'll try to finish the video as soon as possible. And do like and share the video. And God bless you all. Good night. Thank you.